It's time! It's finally time!
Go shorty, it's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. We gon' sip Bacardi like it's...
So Happy Death Day came out October 13th, 2017. I couldn't wait for that movie to come out. Went to the movie theater by myself to see it. I don't think a lot of people were anticipating just what kind of a hit it would be. I loved it. I've seen it many times since then. Have been chomping at the bit and can't wait for today. For today is the release of Happy Death Day 2. So we came to a 10 o'clock movie on a Wednesday. Usually movies will come out on the Thursday night before Friday. But we're the only people in this movie theater.
Thanks for hanging out with Newbie.
Well, we are back home from seeing Happy Death Day 2. What'd you think? No, in all seriousness, we're back home. We were the only people in the movie theater for a bit, and then two people joined us that sat in front of us during the previews, and then two people sat behind us. To give you a quick snapshot of the way things went, halfway through the movie, the two people that were in front of us were basically like, we're done. We're out, and they left. Happy Death Day 2 runs almost 2 hours long. I think it's about an hour and 40 minutes, hour and 45 minutes. What did you think about it?
It was an hour and 45 minutes too long.
Yeah. I truly loved the first movie, like I said, on the way into the theater. I have seen it many, many times at this point. I love the fact that it was a marriage of Groundhog Day, a thriller, and a slasher put together. This movie, Happy Death Day 2, is a combination of somewhat of Groundhog Day, but it's basically for the most part, a straight up comedy. And
well, the first like 10 minutes are great.
Yeah,
it's actually really great, and then it follows the same pattern as the first movie.
Yeah, it does.
And then after that, it's like whatever.
It kind of brings you in and dovetails with what you've expected before in the beginning of the movie. But then anything to do with any type of horror or slasher and that whole piece really becomes a side plot to basically just time travel.
Yeah,
and time travel is this movie. I'm not sure.
It's main.
I have to go back and look at the first movie again, but you know, I love the fact that in the first movie there was, you know, in the wall there's a kind of a tribute to They Live, which was another one of my favorite movies. In this movie, the poster that stood out on the wall of, you know, right where the bed is a Back to the Future poster. Almost as a nod to, like, you know, this is.
And they even mentioned it in,
you know,
in
yeah,
like,
they talk about Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So without getting too much further, because I know people are going to be like, just get to the ratings. On a scale of, I hated it, I liked it. I'm sorry, I hated it, I didn't like it, I liked it, and I loved it. I'm going to say that I genuinely hated this movie. This is the first time that I'm giving a flat out hated it. And if I had to do a number scale of 1 to 5, I would give this movie a 0. And you, on the Mary scale, Mary, and if you're new to the channel, by the way, Mary grades things very much on a
high scale.
Yeah, so
this was like a 1.5 for me. I mean, it was just torture. I actually almost fell asleep at one point. He laughed at me. I was like, whoop, I gotta wake up.
I literally couldn't wait for the movie to end. Some of the characters became so grating and annoying. The main characters from the movie, so it basically recycles all of the characters from the first movie, and now they've added a couple of other ancillary characters to the movie as well, supporting characters that they don't do much but other than round out the cast and maybe help appeal to a broader or a more dynamic audience, you know, of color. You know, I hate to say, like, a more inclusive audience. And it really, you know, it really reminds me of, and I know I've seen this said before on other reviews, like The Big Bang Theory. It's essentially like it's a flat out comedy for the most part. I mean, there's so many things that you're just like, I can't believe that they're doing this in the movie. And I'm not going to get into spoilers, but you know, it's Scooby-Doo-ish type chase, and you know, like I can't, you know, hopefully we can wait for, you know, we can avoid somebody trying to stop our plot to try to, you know, set the course right here. And
oh my god, that part.
it's really bad. Some people, in recent times at least, would say that the biggest cinematic disappointment for sequels would probably be Episode 8 of Star Wars. And I think this movie takes the cake.
Oh, yeah. Just completely blows that one out.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember when I've looked forward to a movie more and have been more disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Without giving away spoilers, I will say that this movie not only involves time travel, but also what I get the feeling from watching this was kind of like, you know, skimming the surface of what's popular in culture now, and going back to comic books, thinking about like multiverses, like in DC, we have the DC multiverse, and Marvel, you know, with the multiverse, and you know, we've just had this incredible success of the Spider-Verse movies with Spider-Man, and you know, upcoming with Infinity War 2, or you know, Avengers Endgame, if you will. You know, all signs point to, you know, and especially, you know, leading out of the last Ant-Man movie, finding that, you know, time travel, or the ability to find additional universes out there, and it felt like this movie tried to capitalize on that, but it's not smart enough of a movie to be about that. I mean, it's certainly not what I wanted to see when walking into the movie theater, because it's not what is advertised, or you would think. I mean, you go to see a first movie and it's this, and then you expect more of this for the second movie, which it does start off with, and then it just goes completely sideways. So,
yeah,
I would say for sure, it's definitely not worth paying the money to see in the movie theater. It might be worth watching on Netflix or elsewhere, but absolutely, it's really absolutely disappointing to me. You know, and just the way that some things cater to just such stupidity in the movie, and this is not a spoiler, but I mean, there's parts in the movie where you're like, people are escaping in the hospital, and they go to a floor, and the floor is under construction in an existing hospital. Then the little character literally says, "This must be one of the floors that are under construction right now." I thought the floor looked great. I mean, it translated to like what you might see at Halloween Horror Nights, because you know, all signs point to this will probably be back in like Horrors of Blumhouse house.
Yeah.
But outside of it translating to a horror house, it was just so incredibly stupid. And then I guess the other thing that always kind of bothered me, whether it was in the first movie or carries over to this movie, when they do go to the hospital, because they're basically reliving the same day that you saw in the first movie. There's literally like 2 patients or 1 patient in the entire hospital. So it's something that I always make fun of in the original Halloween 2, not the one from
and only one
last year. You know, yeah, it was like one security guard, one person working the front desk.
Yeah, one nurse at the desk, and
1 patient.
One hallway, and that's it.
So, anyway, that's it. I can't say anything more without getting into too many spoilers. And I'm sure people are probably going to look at this and say, it can't possibly be that bad. I still want to go see it, to see for myself. And by all means, go see it. Let me know in the comments below if you actually watched the movie and you thought it was any different than what our review is. I'd love to see any redeeming points or counterpoints that you guys may have found from the movie. There is a cutscene for the movie also, so after you get through the first wave of credits, there is a scene that if I wasn't annoyed enough with the main movie, when it got to that scene, I just thought like,
oh no,
I just can't believe this is happening. I literally can't believe this is happening right now. So, anyway, enough rambling. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for all of your likes and your comments and your subscriptions. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Have a great night. We'll see you guys.